James, guys,
Yo.
thank you for making time today. Congratulations on the movie coming out. How long has it actually been done for?
How long is it? Well, we premiered at Newport Beach Film Festival, which seems like a completely different universe ago.
Sure.
And I think that's on the wiki page, but I think was it in March 2020?
It's finished. It's been finished for a year.
Okay.
Yeah. Finished for a year. There you go. Yeah, finished for a year. But when we got distribution, we did make a few very tiny tweaks for the real fans if they caught it online, I guess, because it was not in person at Newport. But a few new music cues, kind of a reissue for the real for the fans. Just kidding. This is going to be the first time it's really consumed by like a global audience, and we're really excited about it. And it's been a long time in the making.
A year is not that long of a lag. Some of these junkets I do, you say, when you finish the film, they say 2017. You go, what? Like, yeah. I can't imagine as a creative adjacent person doing something and waiting 3 to 4 years for it to actually come out. So I guess my next question is, you have a thing like that you're waiting, and then you're tweaking it with the music. Does it feel good to have it out, or are you actually kind of removed from it because it's been so long?
No, it feels totally amazing and totally fresh. And I think every single day in COVID, when we would just text each other back and forth. We're like, when this comes out, we just cannot wait. So the fact that it's going to be in theaters, the fact that it's going to be available on VOD everywhere in North America with an internet connection, in the UK and Ireland, all the territories, the fact that we're finally getting a semblance of a normal independent film rollout. We just feel so incredibly lucky. And we have loved this movie every single day, from the first draft that I wrote all the way up until now. So, when we tell people the sort of timeline from the first draft to now, I mean, it's been 2.5 years. When you factor in COVID, that isn't actually that long. There are people who wait, 40 years. I think of Silence by Scorsese, they're just those projects that, you just keep rolling back. But I think that we got very lucky in a lot of respects with certain actors being available. And, the fact that also everyone was waiting for their thing to come out with COVID at the same time, I think made us feel a little bit better. It wasn't just us that had to sit back and wait.
So much to unpack right there. First, the script. When you cast someone, and this is a great, great cast of acclaimed actors and actresses, familiar faces, but people with cred at the same time. You walked the line between cred and commercial. You pulled it off there. Do they get the full script, or do they get, hey, here's 4 pages, tell me what you think?
No, they got the full script. We don't know if they actually read the full script. They might have just read their scenes. I've done that. But
count lines, man.
Yeah, they got the full script, and some people would be like, we would get some immediate no's. They wouldn't even come in an audition because they would just be like on the page. They didn't know James. They didn't know me. They hadn't seen, really our work before. It's possible that they were reading it on the page as something a lot more lurid or a lot more, insane than I think the way it was actually shown, which was much more artfully crafted and sort of a throwback to, the 80s and 90s of that sort of heyday.
Who was the first of the main actors to come on board with the film?
We were really, really lucky in getting an amazing casting director on this. It's somebody that Chris had worked with in the past. I think he did some acting workshops with Donna. She's a legend. Donna Morong was phenomenal, and real credit to her to being able to cull together this cast. We had our people that we had in mind. I'm sure Chris had people in mind when he was writing it, and then while we were developing it, and we had pitch decks with thumbnails of people, and the first person that came on board was Heather Matarazzo.
Really?
Oh, that's right.
Yes. Yeah, she would, and I think that was a really smart play. And I have some other independent filmmaker friends who are like, I got to cast my leads first, and it's like, well, there's a really cool backdoor way to doing something where you can, find a really good juicy supporting role and a great actor that you can kind of start to build a little bit of a snowball and avalanche effect from. And I think that it was true for us as well as the filmmakers. Once she got on board, we're like, no, this is real. Okay. Shoot. Okay. Like this is kind of, starting to feel right. We had our first actor on board. Chris had obviously wrote the film and stars in the film, and we have a working relationship from web series. And I knew his gifts and talents as a writer and a performer. So we were lucky to have that baked into the souffle. But yeah, Heather coming on board first was a huge feather in our cap, and she's absolutely incredible in the film. Like adds her own, kind of interesting energy and vibe to play with against all of these other people that are bringing all of their own kind of zany and interesting kind of quirks and attributes to the roles. And you talk about the casting process. A lot of the younger actors or people that we were looking at for different roles, it was a little bit it was hard to find that person, and there were all these different kind of variables. But I'm thinking back to that casting process, which was so fun. And it was great to get such an amazing, just pool of really experienced seasoned actors for some of the other supporting roles. I'm thinking of Riff Hutton, who played the detective, and Ezra, who played the lawyer in the film. Amos is his character. But those were the best. Like, we got some amazing, really recognizable faces and people that we've loved who have just been character actors and around and kicking around forever. And they just walk in and they want to be a part of it, man. Like, they do it for the love. You know what I mean? They're not, and Chris mentioned, it's tough town, to have people really a tough time just across the board, but to have people interested and invested in you if you don't have a stacked resume. But, I think to really kind of have longevity, you just have to do this stuff and love it. And I think that really showed with all the people that came in to read for those parts, the more kind of seasoned, experienced, older parts. That was a lot of fun to see.
And then coming in and hearing from James's words, how he envisioned the film, or to read the scene with me, I think, that added a lot as well. So as soon as they dipped their toe in, I think that we filled in a lot of blank spaces for them. And James created this incredible pitch deck that we used to send out to basically everyone during pre-production of the film. And the color palette, the list of references and influences and everything, they're all there. If you look at the final film, that is not very common. I think that we were very, very, very true to our vision all the way through. Really well.
Yeah. When I speak with folks that I'm friends with that are on film crews, you always ask for the horror stories. And sometimes there's an Academy Award nominated actor in the lead role who goes, "You got me for 2 days. I'm not going to do any rehearsals." And, I don't get any of that vibes from looking at what's presented on screen. So either you're masterful editors or you just ran a really good set. It's one or the other.
Right. I think luckily it was thank you.
Sure.
It's a little bit of both. I really like being in the edit bay. I cut my teeth on music videos and editing a lot of my own stuff. And I really enjoy the process of it. And we worked with an incredible editor who I worked with in the past on short form stuff, but had also done feature films. So we were very smart in surrounding ourselves with a lot of people who had been down this road before. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of the game, but we definitely crafted this thing, you know what I mean? And made sure that we were trying to, editing is the invisible art, but we obviously had a ton to work with. And, I will say, it was an independent film, and like all of them, we weren't without our challenges. But, this movie was, I say this to everybody that I talk to about it, it was charmed in a way from the start. From Chris's first draft of the script, that I know we were always, Chris, you were always so worried about how long is it going to be? How long is it going to be? I said, don't worry about it, man. There Sundance movies are 70 minutes long, or they're this long, or Patrick had edited a 2.5-hour German World War II film that, it doesn't matter, right? But I forget the page count of the first draft. I think it was a little shorter than the runtime, but I read it in 20 minutes. I think I read 80 pages in 20 minutes, man. It was like, it was just such a snappy, really, kind of a live script, so we always wanted to keep that in the film. And no matter what we encountered, whatever it was, which there were a million different things that we encountered, we somehow managed to turn a lot of those things into assets along the way. And I don't think that's there's something that's a little kismet serendipitous there too. It's like we had a really great, really great pool of people in front of and behind the camera, but there was something extra as well,
The last thing I want to know, being mindful of both of your times, which again, I thank you for, and I over compliment you for, what's next? And the reason I ask is because this film was not finished yesterday. And at the same time, I'm very mindful that in the business, the deadline.com embargo is an inevitability on some projects. Are you allowed to say, Chris, you first, are you allowed to say what's next?
Yeah, I'm in pre-production on my next script that I'll be in as well, and it's a wedding-themed romantic comedy, which is another sort of genre that I always loved, like the thrillers that The Estate is sort of modeled after, that I'm trying to bring back. Yeah.
Awesome. Can you top or equal that one, James?
I'll try to equal it. Luckily, Chris and I are both working on another feature film, which is great. And we'll see what happens after this comes out. Hopefully everybody loves it as much as we do, and we're banking on it, and we'll see what opportunities arise. But I'm actually in post-production, thankfully, on a really wonderful feature-length documentary. And it's not much is around online about it, but I'll give you an exclusive, Darren. It's about Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, and it's
The Crow. Wow.
The Crow. It's about his life. It's about his small circle of Hollywood running buddies in the late 80s and early 90s. We have over 40 interviews, and it tells a beautiful story about all of his friends and their efforts to kind of keep his memory and spirit alive in the last 28 or so years since his accident. And it's a beautiful movie. And it's beautiful in a very different way than The Estate,
right?
But it does have some a great cast as well.
That is
being one of the people in the movie.
That is my wheelhouse of movies. For me, it's all about comedies, documentaries, biopics. So this current project from you guys gets it. Chris, the next one, the wedding rom-com, that gets it. Brandon Lee biopic, or rather documentary. Guys, just keep doing what you're doing, and looking forward to it all.
Thank you so much, Darren. Thank you for giving us the time to talk about it.
Likewise.
Great talking to you.
Best of luck with the rest of the junket. Take care.
Thank you, Darren.